Okay, so glad you're back with us for another Goldseek.com radio Gold Nugget segment. Today's special guest, Gerald Celente from the Trends Research Institute. Well, it's a pleasure to welcome back to the show the director of the Trends Research Institute, Gerald Celente. His team produces the Trends Journal with hard-hitting, in-depth analysis of the economic, socio-political, and cultural trends shaping the world. Hello, Gerald.
Hello, Chris.
Well, let's begin, why don't we, with the recent comments you made regarding the economic system. Now that the bailout bubble has burst, the collapse is already underway. The system is failing right before our very eyes. There's simply no way to fix it.
Just look around. I mean, you fix anything in the European Monetary Union by bailing out Greece with Portugal next, Spain, Ireland already underwater, Italy around the corner. They're running out of games. The United States, same thing. We started with Bush's TARP, failed through Obama's stimulus, got swamped under the trillions of dollars of digital money not worth the paper was printed on by Ben Bernanke. It's one failure after another. And what amazes me is that people are still looking to the same losers that helped create it, made bad matter worse, are now going to fix it?
We're allowing the inmates to run the asylum, I'm afraid.
Well, it couldn't be any clearer. These people don't represent us. And by the way, that's the only way out of this with the presidential race coming up in 2012. And this is going to be my campaign theme for 2012. Let the people vote. We don't have a constitution left in the United States. It's abrogated under Clinton. It was destroyed under Bush, and now it's being buried under Obama. So let's start anew. Let the people vote. We don't have a representative form of government. Only little children or people that want to become politicians believe that politicians represent us. They represent the people that give them the most amount of money in an envelope, and they call it campaign contributions. I call it bribes and payoffs, which they are. So on issues of war, on health care reform, on immigration, on the major issues, let the people vote. Because if we continue to go under the same rule and take the same path that the Republican and Democratic mobsters got us into, this thing is going to be, people are not going to, they don't realize it. You better fight for your life because they're bringing you under. They're going to squeeze every dime out of you in taxes and license fees in any way that they can to keep this Ponzi scheme afloat. They need to keep money going into the game, and they're going to get it from you.
Speaking of new wars, you pointed out recently we have 3 potential new wars on the horizon. Of course, Libya, Yemen, and now Syria. Now that 90-day moratorium has passed, our congressmen that you referred to, they're calling for a vote on the Libyan conflict. Will one ever reach the floor, do you think?
I don't know if one ever will, but I could tell you where the height of hypocrisy lies, Wimpocrats. If Bush was in power now, they would be screaming bloody murder about how he's abrogating the Constitution and not paying any attention to the War Powers Act at a time when, if it was the other, with Obama doing it, oh, it's okay, we like him, and he's doing the best he can, and his hands are tied, and so it's the Wimpocrats and that are making all of this possible.
You've also discussed the money Ponzi scheme, noting that the dollar is, virtually worthless here. And, let's take a look at the Greek default. We heard Alan Greenspan on the Charlie Rose Show say that it's a near certainty now that Greece will default on its debt. Put the two together, it seems like we have a perfect recipe of currency volatility and even collapse.
Oh, it is. The collapse is underway, and there's nothing that they're going to be able to do to stop it. It's funny, Alan Greenspan says something, people listen, there's a guy that got everything wrong, so maybe he's wrong about this, but he's probably right. So no, the collapse is coming, and what is it, what are they doing? They give a debt, a bailout. It's not a bailout. You can't pay your second mortgage, here's a third. And all the IMF is the International Mafia Federation. All they are the loan sharks of last resort. When you can't get a loan from anybody else, the mafia walks in, the International Monetary Mafia. And what they do is, hey, listen, hey, Chris, you want the money? You got to tax the people. I need more return. You know, I want to make sure I get my money back. And so you raise the property taxes, you raise the licensing fees, and then they don't get enough money. And like any loan shark, what they do is they say, hey, I want the bridge, I want the toll road, I want the water supply. You got it? That's all they are. These are a criminal group. And what gets me is they have fancy names, but they dress nice, and they have a nice place to hang out. You know, they don't have like the social clubs in Little Italy. No, they have a nice headquarters in Washington. We got flags, we got statues, we got protocol. That's all it is. And people better wise up, because your pockets are going to be empty. Your pantry is going to be empty. You're not going to have a roof over your head, because these money junkies will steal every last dime they could get from you.
Well, you know, unemployment just inched higher to 9.1%. House prices are plunging. Over 44 million Americans require food stamps just to feed their families. This also sounds like a recipe for disaster, Gerald.
Well, you've heard my saying. When people lose everything and have nothing left to lose, they lose it. Whether it's robbing copper from buildings and churches, or whether it's, you know, blowing somebody's brains out for $10 for some meth or crack, you know? I mean, that's what we're looking at over here. America's descending into a third world country. You know, they're breaking people for every minor violation, just like they do in third world countries. Hey, I got to keep my job, you know? We got a quota to meet. If I don't get enough tickets, I don't have a job. They're becoming enforcers for the government crime boss.
I mean, they're forcing folks out of their homes. One sheriff in Chicago actually put a moratorium, refused to throw people out of their houses anymore. At some point, you know, the backlash is going to be tremendous. I think we're being conditioned for much worse times ahead.
They are, and that's why, I have Gerald Celente's GC's 3Gs, guns, gold, and a getaway plan. The cover of the Summer Trends Journal in a few weeks, it's going to be fight. You better start fighting for your life, because your life is on the line. What's happening in Washington in your town hall isn't a world away. It's affecting you every day. It's affecting what you have in your savings or don't, whether or not you're going to be able to keep your house, how much money they're going to steal from you. And how about this? How about another, maybe another nuclear plant here or there, you know, going off? Hey, don't worry about that radiation. It won't kill you right away. And don't worry about all that poison in the food and the air. You know, we got to make money. So people better realize if they don't stand up and fight for their lives are going to be ruined.
It's well said. Let's talk about some tangible, hands-on, realistic ways that the typical listener, I mean, you know, I'm not talking about folks that have 6, 7 digits in their savings accounts. I'm talking about the listener who's up against the ropes, maybe has a mortgage, you know, underwater on a mortgage right now, living in suburbia, not on the fringes like you and I. Real steps that they can take right now.
Number one is you're going to have to get in shape. If you're going to get into the fight, you better know how to fight. And that means you have to be in shape physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Every day to quiet your mind, to meditate, to empty it as much as you can. Everything that you put into your mouth, make sure it's the best quality. And you don't need a lot of it when it's good quality. Stop eating junk, thinking junk, watching junk. And stop taking prescription drugs that are making life worse if there are alternative modalities. Don't spend a dime that you don't have to spend. And what you do is start becoming more and more involved around the people around you. See how you can help out each other. And I mean this when I say it. My campaign for 2012 is let the people vote. Let the people vote. Put the power back in the hands of the people. As I said, on issues in war, on issues of immigration, on issues of health care, all the major issues. So the people out there that are internet savvy, that are legally minded, to come up with some kind of a way how we can do this online. Because remember, Chris, we could be voting online, because if you could bank online, you could vote online. You should be able to go to your ATM machine, and right next to it, you could vote. It could be as easy as that. Again, the systems are in place. and the line that, oh, we can't do it to secure our voting. Yeah, like it's being secured already. Again, I'm not 6 years old. I remember how elections are thrown and still see how they are. We have a better chance if it's all transparent and online. So those are the things that I recommend. And of course, as I said, speaking only for myself, I have enough food to last me several weeks. I have my guns, because I don't know what kind of violence is going to occur. And particularly if there's a terrorist strike. And that's really not a terrorist strike. It'll be a revenge attack for the atrocities that America is committing all around the world, particularly in Afghanistan, Iraq, Pakistan, Yemen, and now, of course, in Libya. And so if a dirty bomb goes off or a suitcase-sized nuclear weapon or a biological warfare, do you know what you'll do, where you'll go, how you'll meet with family and friends? Because these are realities. It's going on around the world. World War, the Great War, the 21st century is unfolding in front of us. Anybody that can't see it, that's fine. But as far as I believe, when you look at what's going on, as you mentioned, in Syria, Libya, Yemen, Bahrain, Qatar, Egypt, riots now in Greece, Spain, coming up in Italy, already in Portugal, going to Ireland, they add it up together. These aren't one-offs. It's not going to get better. It's only going to get worse.
You don't give investing advice, we understand, but maybe let people know where you're parking your hard-earned money.
Most of my money's in gold, 80%. I bought a little silver. I'm not buying silver anymore. And I'm not saying it's a bad investment, but to me, gold is the ultimate. And the other money I have is in Swiss francs. I used to have it in Canadian dollars. I pulled out of that. So now I'm just in gold and Swiss francs. And now as you're seeing all these governments topple, you need a place to wash the dirty dough. And Switzerland's been doing that for a long time. Look at World War II, a whole world war around them, and they ended up safe and clean because you need to wash the money. And money has to flow in and out of someplace, legally and illegally. And Switzerland seems to be the place of choice. So those are my two investment strategies, as simple as that. I'm not buying any more real estate. I haven't bought it in years, and I don't plan on buying it now. My big purchase was in 2002. I haven't bought anything since, and I don't intend to buy anything in the future unless it's something really special that I really, really want and could well afford it.
We receive messages from listeners and readers who are understandably concerned by what they're seeing happen here. Is there a reasonable alternative for the non-millionaire American as we start to see the gates shut and the walls close in on us here? Is there an escape route available?
Yes, there is. The escape route, again, is to build your community. And that's when I talk about let the people vote. People ask me, where would I go in the world? I don't want to go anywhere else. I've been around the world. There's no place right now that I would want to go to. I want to make it work where I am. And it's really very important to be around like-minded people and to understand, get real with life and death. We're not going to be here forever. It's really a short trip. And to make it as best you can. And again, we need morality. Values change, morals don't. So align yourself with those kind of people. Again, the ones that are going to succeed, and you could be at any income level at all for these three things to happen. Everyone is equal on this number. Physical, emotional, and spiritual strength. Those are the ones that will survive and thrive. And again, it's very important to also note that even at the worst of times, life is going to go on. We have almost 7 billion people, 6.5 billion people. So even if 20% of them, for example, in the United States are 307 million people, if 20-30% were doing terrible, you still got millions of people that are still out there doing things. So there are going to be, I hate to use the word market opportunities, but it's true. Life is going to go on. So look for those things that are going to be the profit centers and the income generators. And that's what we write about in the Trends Journal.
Well, sage advice. Could you please tell folks more about the Trends Research Institute, what they'll find when they navigate their browsers to your page?
Well, when they go to trendsjournal.com, they'll see the media blog, our forecasts, what we see coming up for the rest of 2011, and also how to subscribe to the Trends Journal. And I always want to make this clear that we make it available to anyone at any price, for those people that are having difficult times. And there's a discount request form. If you're going through rough times for whatever reason, just let us know, and we'll do our very best to let you have the Trends Journal. Because one of the great things, the great rewards that I receive every day are the emails that we get from people telling us how we inspired them and how much we've helped them. So that's the purpose of the Trends Journal. And as long as we can continue doing that, then it's a work that's well worth living for.
No, hat tip for all your work, sir. And I want to wish you a very safe and profitable week ahead.
You too. Thank you, Chris. Okay, bye-bye.
Like it always does.